A very good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Race Village here in Hobart for the 2021 Rolex Sydney Hobart Yacht Race. It's the morning of the 28th of December and a much more comfortable night was had by those yachtsmen and women out in the Tasman Sea. Joining me as my co-host Peter Shipway. You had a very comfortable night, I know, Peter, here in the very hospitable environs of Hobart, but out there on the high seas, those that are still racing must have enjoyed it a bit more than the previous night.
Yes, certainly, Peter, and good morning. It's all to play for, though. The leaders are locked together, Law, Connect and Blackjack. They've still got about 130 miles to go to the finish. It's quite calm out there, but they're within sight of each other, and they're just south of St Helens. Somewhat off the coast, but it's going to be a thrilling battle, no doubt, for line honours. Scallywag is about 30 miles astern of those other two Super Maxis, but I think at this stage you'd have to say it's between Blackjack and Law Connect for line honours.
So how much longer? I know it's a crystal ball. Bit of reaching conditions for them today. These big boats can make speed. They can make their own wind almost. So, but a tactical day's racing.
Yes, we all know how tricky it is. Of course, they've got to get to Tasman, and it's very light at Tasman at the moment. Forecast is anything between southeast and northeasterly sea breezes down the east coast. They've got to get across Storm Bay and then up the river. So the forecast is not great for a fast finish, that's for sure. But it could still favour on handicap the smaller boats that are going to finish in stronger breezes.
So the handicap situation, how's that looking at the moment? We might get a record handicap winner in Love and War.
Well, we could easily. I mean, she's led for the last 24 hours or so. She's been first or second on the leaderboard, but she's just into Bass Strait. She's not even halfway to Hobart yet. So it's a big ask to call a handicap winner from this far out. But she's there or thereabouts. Ichiban always strong, the defending champion. They've all hit the big high pressure system at the moment with no wind. So it's slowed the fleet dramatically. The smaller boats are still catching up a little bit, while the bigger boats and say the 50-footers have slowed right down.
Well, Stefan Racing, the 80-footer was really pushing the 100-footers yesterday, but she seems to have dropped back a bit.
Yeah, she has. I think they've all just hit this ridge of high pressure and they've all stopped, basically. You've got to wriggle your way through it, then hope the wind gods are with you across Storm Bay and up the river. And we all know what that's like. That's very tricky.
And the two-handers is a real additive to the race this year. I think it's a division which people are watching very closely. Line honours-wise, it's a local boat from Hobart, Sidewinder, who's leading. There's 10 still left in that fleet, and we've had 36 retire from the race, all up, and 52 boats still out there racing. 10 of them are two-handed yachts.
Yes, Sidewinder's done a terrific job. Robbie Goff and John Saul, highly experienced Robbie Goff, world champion in moths and a really good sailor.
Sailboards as well.
Sailboards as well, yes. And John Saul. They've just entered Bass Strait, so they've still got over 350 miles to go. So a long way for those two-handers. But at the moment, they're doing a very good job, as are all the two-handers.
Could they do the double?
Easily, absolutely easily. They could do the handicap and line honours double in the two-handers. So they're well ahead of the others. Disco Troopers second. So I think it's between those two at this stage, you'd have to say, for honours, both handicap and line honours.
It would have been all hands, two on
them,
deck
yes.
for the first 24 hours, but I think they'd probably be taking the opportunity today to grab a little bit of rest because
I think all crews will be, Pete, fully crewed and two-handers. Benign conditions, it's time to rest, dry the boat out, make sure everything's in working order, and then just tough it out now in these tricky conditions that remain for the last couple of 100 miles.
Yeah, it's a glorious day for those out yachting. They'll be looking for a bit of breeze as well, and they can really get into the tactical racing side of things. Now, this race is coming up to 2 days of racing. So, Peter Shipway, we look forward to having your company for the rest of what's going to be a fascinating 2021 Rolex Sydney Hobart Yacht Race. But for the moment, it's goodbye from Hobart.